Hello? What it do, Ski? It's your boy Farewell34, and today we're checking out Stargate SG-1. This one is season 4, episode number 9. How's it going, Stargate fam? So, last episode we were chilling with some of the UNASs. Daniel was busy making friends on a mission. R.I.P. to Rothman. He got bodied. It is what it is. He was one of the Goulds. He got compromised. We got to learn about the Gould a little bit the last episode, specifically with the idea of like the Naquita and a little bit more about their origins, and it sort of leaves a bunch of questions. I'm interested to see how that might be relevant in the future, but with that being said, let's just dive into episode 9. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, then definitely be sure to smack that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Of course, y'all, as always, in case you're interested in getting the full raw reactions and more, then definitely check out patreon.com/Farewell34 in the description down below. With that being said, guys, it's time for some SG-8.
Hundreds of villages like this one have paused. Heroes to my people.
It's our pleasure.
We will name the child after you, Colonel.
Hey, ship, now a boy, let's go.
Oh, we will survive.
I hope.
You should provide enough energy to heat your new city for a year.
Naquita reactor, let's go.
Help me, please!
What is it?
What's poppin', Caleb? Is your face on the floor? What do we got? What I feel like we did something that's gonna bite us in the ass. The fuck? Burning forest?
What is it?
Mothership? That's odd. It doesn't look like Gould. Trying to terraform or something? I'm not sure. Let's find out. Yeah, terraform progression.
Now, it extends beyond the range of the
Scorched
UAV.
Earth.
New York City hadn't seen the technology before. There don't appear to be any recognizable or discerning markings on the ship.
26 hours to reach Hedrazar's village.
Can we evacuate the Incarans in time? Teal'c's prepping them right now.
The only other planet we know of with similar conditions is the original Incaran homeworld, and according to Incaran verbal history, there's no Stargate there.
I'll put SG-5, 6, and 9 out
haystack.
looking
Can't
for
do
another
much.
suitable.
It's doubtful they'll find one in time, sir. Their condition would degrade the longer they were here.
The point is, General, we could never save them all.
They're microbes, sir. The alien ship is depositing them on the planet's surface. Now, if my theory is correct, we're looking at the first building blocks of an alien ecosystem.
It's a terraform.
An organic system based on sulfur instead of carbon.
I don't think we're gonna have a happy ending by this for this episode. Doesn't seem like it. Also, the P90s are still out. Damn, confirmed. Gone. Marty.
Thanks to you, we have found it.
We must stay here and fight for it.
We're gonna try to communicate with whoever's on that ship first.
That looks so much closer than it is.
Question is, will they listen?
You just got yoinked, so I think they might. Okay, this seems pretty advanced. Looks like an Apple store, and they're gonna come to some compromise.
we're on board that ship.
I love how calm they are, even with the whole terraforming. Like this is season 1, they'd be panicking.
They were expecting us.
We're gonna do some crazy twists. It's the
Ryder.
future us. Great, you got floppy
Some
disks.
kind of tissue sample.
The ship's terraforming the planet, right? What if these are the life forms it's
Populations?
creating the new environment for?
Yeah.
It's still just a guess.
A good one. I'm Lotan.
He's one of them.
I've been assembled in order to more easily facilitate communication. Ship,
been
as you
assembled.
call it.
Assembled, you say?
I'm a biomechanical representation of the beings now occupying this planet.
The ship analyzed a new life form and created a replica in one day?
Fascinating design. You are not.
No, we're... Actually, we're friends of the people your ship seems bent on wiping out.
Yes, that is unfortunate.
Oh,
Since
was
you are
I
friends of the Incarans,
causing
would
a
you deliver
trouble
the message
for
to
them?
There were no sentient life forms present.
Yeah, well, there are now.
Unfortunately for your friends, once the process has begun, it must be completed. We wish no harm to come to the Incarans.
First come, first serve.
I think we should be talking to your boss.
Let me just go
Assumption of
3D print him
hierarchical
quickly.
command structure. Follow me?
Okay, I'm a couple of things so far. I'm liking where the direction they're going with this episode, right? Because they started it and nobody was here. However, if they had known that there was a civilization here, would they have continued it anyway? That's what I'm interested in knowing, unless I missed that. 2, who are these people? I'm digging the idea that they're so advanced that they can just have this terraforming giant ass ship, no problem. But as well, they can just make these robots, no problem. Fully automated.
Called the Gadmir.
Like who?
Not exactly E.T.
They were a very advanced race compared to the Incarans. However, they were also fell victim to a superior military power. So they built this ship in the hopes that their world would be born again. The ship has only enough raw material to transform one planet. Now that the transformation has been started, it must be finished here, or the entire Gadmir civilization will be lost forever. The Incarans must leave or they will die.
We just draw straws?
That's
do we,
it.
Do we face each other on Rust? How do we
Please
do
explain
this?
this.
That's crazy. He just booted them out the chat and said deal with it.
Did you speak with the aliens?
They ain't caring.
That's assuming we have a right to stop them at all.
Excuse me?
We'd be interfering with the rebirth of an entire civilization.
I'm talking about a bunch of freeze-dried aliens whose civilization was lost a long time ago.
Could he be convinced to delay the transformation long enough for us to relocate the Incarnate?
Well, it might make him more sympathetic to their plight.
It's a robot.
Well, he didn't seem very concerned with helping.
Well, if he's capable of learning, we might be able to get him to think outside of his programming.
I say we throw everything we've got at that ship.
I'm sorry, I can't authorize a military strike in this situation, Colonel.
They trusted us, and we screwed up.
It's a tough spot. It's not like we have the
Dismissed.
capabilities to sustain them in their own habitat, right? We don't have our own terraforming. Or maybe they could reason with them, and if we have the database and all the technology, we could temporarily move the Incarans and let the robots have this planet, and they'll give us the technology to help move the Incarans somewhere else, or use the terraforming, tweak it to help them and find another planet. That's the only other kind of route I can think of at this very moment. That's fucked up. Imagine just looking and be like, wow, our imminent death is just right there. It's just,
Edrazar, you
it's
can
coming.
still save.
Have you not any way to stop the ship?
How much naquita is in that reactor we gave him?
Sir?
Thinking, Daniel. It's a no-win situation. But we're not going to sit around and watch these people get slaughtered.
I don't know if that's the play.
Make a naquita bomb.
Jack, go back to the bombs.
Theoretically, if I created a feedback loop, it would be a big explosion, sir.
Unless Tilt, Sam, and the rest just say, no, Jack, we're not going to do it.
How controlled is this going to be?
This ridge should protect the village, but this is as close as I would put it.
Keep in mind, this is very dangerous.
About 50
We're just winging
minutes, sir.
this.
Once you detonate the reactor, there's no turning back. The overload can't be stopped.
I don't know if this is a play, guys.
I'm gonna go try to talk to Lotan. Well, actually, Jack asked me to give him another choice. Technically, I'm following an order.
That one stings. What is going on? Fresh off the printer?
Hello, Daniel Jackson.
Hi.
Are the Incarans going to leave the planet? This music has not been heard in over 1,000 years. It sounds very unpleasant to me. Yes. It's not how it should sound. It seems the design of your ears, my ears, is not meant for it.
See if you'll consider alternate solutions to the problem faced by the Incarans. The ship will continue the process without you, correct?
Yes.
There, then no harm done. We'll have a look around.
Daniel Jackson, the man of the people and the AI. Seems like he's gonna carry this one.
They depend on us. What
Jackson's
else are we gonna
loyalty.
I don't know.
do? You want to talk me out of this?
Yes, sir.
Let's go, Sam.
This is better. I agree.
Trees, they're,
Yo, Daniel's lining up the argument. He's trying to get
Their
him.
design is most interesting.
Daniel Jackson has gone to speak with Lotan.
You do know we're going to try and blow up that ship.
I am aware of that.
Jack, it's a 3-on-1 decision.
Daniel, come in.
Okay, I'm not on the ship.
What are you doing, Daniel?
I'm talking to Lotan.
We only have 15 minutes.
Guys, we gotta hurry it up.
What time it is?
Pizza
I'm
time.
trying to give you...
He's got this in the bag. The
have
swagger,
disobeyed
the
your superior.
confidence. Disobeying the superior. Daniel knows what he's doing. Lining up the logic. He has taken him through it. This is why you won't do what you were gonna do.
Lotan wanted to
As long
meet
as
the
Jack
Incarans.
doesn't fumble it, which I think he could.
He looks Incaran, but I have not met him before.
Lotan is a representative of the aliens who built the ship. That's something that was happening to them on the planet when we first met. They were dying. This is the only planet we could find where we knew that they could survive.
I'm aware of their physiological needs.
They're your people in a way, Lotan. You were created in their image.
The ship calls me back.
Take me with you.
No. Daniel, no!
Sir,
He asked to go.
Oh?
It appears to be capable
know.
of emitting great amounts of energy. Is this device intended to try and stop the ship? Karen named Eliam suggested. They will not leave. There is no other option.
if you're gonna do it, you have to do it now.
Daniel Jackson has made his choice on me.
Jack? He's not doing it.
The device has entered an active state.
Then think about this. Think about the people down there and all the life that you will be destroying.
I am programmed to serve the life on this ship.
They had laws, a respect for life. Then how can their world be recreated through an act of mass murder?
Oh shit.
Wouldn't that be a betrayal of everything they stood for? Are you really fulfilling your true function by allowing this to happen?
Daniel Jackson for the win.
Daniel must have gotten through to him.
Jack dissolved.
You've got 30 seconds.
Do you know how to deactivate it?
Yeah, Lotan, we really don't have time for this.
5, 4,
Hello?
2,
Guys?
1.
Okay.
What is going on?
Got shook for a second.
Powerful explosive. I must eventually resume the transformation process on this planet. Many millions of planets were scanned. Only one met the specifications.
And you know their physiology better than anyone. Do any of the planets scanned by the ship match the needs of the Incarans?
Here.
Yeah?
I regret that I did not consider this possibility, Daniel Jackson. This planet was rejected by the ship because 3 of the parameters were not correct. The core temperature was too warm, the size was too large, and there were intelligent life forms already present.
Intelligent life forms.
Based on the description, I believe they were in Karen.
That's a bruh moment. It's a dope-ass transportation sound effect, just to make that very clear.
We found the original Incaran homeworld.
What?
He's telling us this now.
Well, I didn't know.
We will gladly accept this offer to return to the home of our ancestors.
The Incaran homeworld has no Stargate.
You gotta take the ship.
Well, actually, I have this friend with a big spaceship who's willing to take them.
Is this possible?
Look at that, a healthy compromise.
Spread the word among the villages. We are going home.
Now, the only thing that I can see going wrong is if they go to the homeworld and they don't fuck with them. Though they have, you know, the whole mothership now. And the two civilizations are one. And that was my reaction video to Stargate SG-1 Season 4 episode number 9. This one was titled Scorched Earth. I liked this episode quite a bit. We had what initially seemed like an unsolvable circumstance through reason, understanding, empathy. Daniel Jackson just carrying the fuck out of the episode. They are able to find a healthy compromise for both Lotan and, you know, the whole civilization that he was trying to, he was, you know, created to save, terraform for, and as well as the Incarans here. And I thought the way they presented this episode and also went about executing it made the story work really well. The idea of the urgency in terms of the time frame. I guess like one of the only reasons, the only thing that I could think of would be to use their technology to help them. But the only way they're able to do that and really have Lotan even come to that conclusion is since he's just an AI, show him the ropes, the planet, and sort of walk him through the logic of why it would work, even though he's not designed for that. So having Daniel go through that calmly, show the different perspectives between the entire team, Teal'c not fully with Jack, not agreeing with Daniel necessarily, but just going through it. Sam following the orders, and I thought that was actually one of my favorite moments throughout this episode, or one of the more interesting elements here. Jack feeling this sense of responsibility, having this bias and loneliness, and I think by pitting this as like their mistake, right? They spent quite a bit of time on this planet, you know, and it was through their errors and bringing them here that this whole circumstance started. So Jack very much so felt responsible and was willing to do what it take to help the people that he jeopardized. I thought that was an interesting, you know, insight to O'Neill's character here, and I thought Sam was actually going to go farther than that, but she just let him know, and it definitely, I think he definitely reconsidered it. I think going to do it if he had to. And I think Daniel going the ship definitely was the icing on the cake to make him sort of just freeze up. And once we only got to the last couple of minutes here, luckily Daniel obviously saved the day here. So I think the conflict this episode was definitely one of the more intriguing ones. I think there was no real villain here, right? It was just two people, two different circumstances for these civilizations, and tampering. I think tampering with the homeworlds and Stargate. And I think this was an interesting episode to show some of the complications that can happen, especially when going to new planets that aren't really inhabited. Like they got there first technically. They did a good job at positioning this episode in terms of putting the amount of emphasis on the SGC's, you know, how much time and effort they put into this operation. Error that they made was they feel responsible for, the time frame, but as well as just the ethical and moral conflict. Do we just let this ship terraform this planet and get rid of the Incarans, or do we get rid of the mothership with this whole entire civilization because the Incarans can't go anywhere else, right? So I think by giving that sort of urgency with the time frame, plus the stakes of the SGC and the amount of effort they put into this and their failure, they did a really good job of balancing this episode, I thought. I think they did a good job at making me feel Jack's responsibility to save these people here. Because normally, I mean, if you run into the civilization with, you know, 10,000 years in the future, they have this crazy, you know, this crazy technology here. By the way, I thought the interior design for that ship, even though he just kept it at 1/4, I thought it looked cool. And you would think that, at least I would think that Jack would, you know, obviously he's pressed with time and all that stuff, but would have considered this race is so advanced and technological, let alone peaceful, right? That was a very, you know, important piece of this episode that came back to save them at the end. And Daniel's whole logic was that they were peaceful. They were advanced, peaceful, had crazy technology, and more than likely would have been willing to share it. So once Daniel was able to find that compromise and you know, communicate and align all their troubles and see that they can actually help each other, and they can, and both sides can get what they want, they were able to achieve everything they wanted to and more. So who knows if this, I could actually see this being a two-parter if they wanted to come back to this sort of storyline and see if this compromise got fucked up. I think overall this is actually a solid episode of the show that I liked. It was an interesting concept. It was executed pretty well. I actually want to learn more about that species. 10,000 years. enough to travel the universe, scan multiple, I think they said millions or thousands of planets inhabitable. I mean, that's a lot of technology that I know they had certain themes and ideas for this episode. You think that the SGC would be interested in working and learning with that, but now that they're going to be going and continuing the terraforming and taking the Incarans, that's not something that I think they can really do, right? But that was this episode of Stargate SG-1, guys. What do you think about this episode? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. It was fun watching them go throughout the process, this episode of like, okay, we can't help them, we can help them, what do we do? And especially with it being this AI who can't really understand their perspective, though even though he was made in their image, it was a really unique idea here that I definitely dug. But that was it for this Stargate video. I will see you for episode number 10.